Hello, everybody. It is June the 6th, 2001. It's just about 7 minutes till 7 p.m. here on the West Coast. Couple things before I get started. The Bozo Net's going to be on in about 7 minutes. Might check into that depending on where they twirl around at. For sometimes they start at LA County and work their way around. So I might just shoot up to our normal Sunday frequency, which is 144.270. The other thing I want to touch base with you and whoever's watching actually is there's going to be one of those swap meets coming up. So let me see if I can get this here on the screen. So it's the ham radio, Claremont Ham Radio swap meet is back. It's June 19th from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. You can go to gothams.com and get a little more information there. It's at let me see here, searching through there, the Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. That's in Claremont, and the zip there is 91710. Once again, that's from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. So it's nice to see they're back. I know the TRW one hasn't been around for a while, and they had one out in Chino Hills for some time early. I think it was the second week of a second Saturday of every month. So it's good they have that back on. So I had a little frog in my throat there. So once again, June 19th. 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's at the Granite, let me see here, Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. So let me see here if I can get back. Yeah, there we go. I got this thing working tonight. So let's get to some radio here and see what else is going on.
John, for sure. Well, nice talking to you. Thanks for reaching out, and nice hearing from you as always. So, 73, and we'll talk again. KG6USS. All the best. W6WWD.
All right, W6WWD. Have a good one. I'll wait. We'll talk to you later. I'm going to go up to the motor about the car.
Oh, thanks for the reminder. All right.
K6EGG, Ward.
Howdy, Alex.
Yeah, that thing you sent me, the email, those are not push nuts, so those are shoulder washers. That was the correct number,
Okay, so those are the first purchase. Is that correct or incorrect?
That's right. That's the first purchase. But then maybe I just read it wrong, but yeah. That's the right part number, the one I gave you on the phone.
Yeah, Roger, the same part number, so I just want to make sure, that's what I showed, and then I'll check on the other item with Ted.
Ted. Yeah, okay, that's all good.
Oh, okay, excellent. Well, again, I'm glad to meet you, and we'll definitely be talking here, and I don't know if you're going to check into Bozo. John, just up in the desert reminded me it's tonight.
Yeah, they start at 7 or 7:30.
Now that it reminded me, it's 7 o'clock that I recall.
Okay, I'll go down there. All right, 73.
Roger that. 73, Alex. Talk to you there. W6WD.
Hey, Ward. K6EGG here.
Howdy, Greg. How you doing? W6WD.
Good. Just got home from work, about a half hour, 45 minutes ago. Had some dinner and enjoyed some dinner with my wife there and my daughter. Now I'm going to play some ham radio tonight. I am streaming as always, or not always, but as often. Going to check into the Bozo night here in just a few minutes. How about you?
Yeah, doing well, thanks. Been a busy afternoon or busy day. It seems like all of a sudden it's done, but yeah, doing fine. I'm glad you had a good dinner and with the family. Just kind of relaxing now and using the computer with a little cheapy headset and just trying to find out if there's any bugs in this thing, and so far so good.
Excellent. Has Keith been out today?
I heard him speaking to Fred and Alex this morning. It was probably before 8 o'clock, but I've been off the radio almost the whole day, so I don't know if he's been around.
Copy that.
So, other than that, yeah, you checking in the Bozo or just hanging out here?
I might go down there and listen for a little bit. Last time it took me almost a half hour to check in because they kind of do it by area now. Well, before it's kind of first come, first serve because I don't want to sit there for a half hour again.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of nice. They kind of spoil us. They start over here to Orange County, Long Beach, the Pacific Palisades or whatever. They start coming a little on the west side. Then you got to swing it around. So, yeah, you got to wait for the house to come to you. I understand.
Yeah, so I'm going to pop down there right now, see if I can get in early. Then I'll either come back up here at, we go to 270 sometimes?
Yeah, I think that was the house east side. I thought that was the place we go on Sunday and Wednesdays, right? So, okay, great. Then I'll see you down there. Good talking to you. And we'll QSY to 240, so 73, W6, WWD.
Copy that. K6EGG QSY 144240.
And hello, everybody that's listening. It's now time for the BozoNet that's on 144240. So we'll check that out and see how that's coming along tonight. It's pretty quiet right now. It's after 7. Sorry, I left that on the screen. I forgot. My bad. Most important part of the thing here is the radio below me, not me.
Is the frequency and
oh boy, might be one of those nights.
the 1-2 KB6VAN.
Dave is on it.
You're working.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is David, KB6VAN, your net control for the Sunday edition of the BozoNet. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? Not hearing anything. Once again, this is David, Bozo number 12. My call is KB6VAN. I'm going to be your net control this evening for the Sunday edition of the BozoNet. For any of you Bozos like to check in this evening, please come now.
463.
878.
496. All right, nice group there. So let's start with 853. Good evening.
How you doing, Dave? Keith here, Long Beach.
Well, Keith's doing good. So how you been this past week?
Well, I spent a little bit of money. I went to HRO to pick up an antenna and stuff. I came home with the 9700.
Hey, good deal. So I guess everybody on 144 250 has got a 9700 now.
Yeah, the peer pressure was just too intense.
All right, so you got it pretty well set up, or are you still trying to learn it?
I've gotten around. Fred and I worked out last night for about an hour on a frequency that was quiet, and he dialed me into a lot of stuff. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff too, so not too good about reading manuals, but I watch videos and with help. So I'm getting around. I still got a lot to learn, obviously.
Oh, God, isn't YouTube great?
That's how I learn, by getting to see somebody else do it instead of just trying to read a sentence 5 times, trying to figure out what they're trying to say.
Good point. Videos always help.
So, thanks for doing it, Ned. I'm going to get out of your hair. 853.
All right, Keith. Hey, thanks for checking in, and congratulations on the new radio. We can't wait to hear it up here on the air. All right, so 878.
Hey, good afternoon or good evening, Dave. How you doing? 878 here, just checking in. No traffic, and as always, appreciate you doing the net. How you doing?
Doing good, Ward. Doing good. Just keeping busy. And I think I'm going to start announcing Father's Day. I will not be holding a net on Father's Day. I feel I need a break.
Well deserved, and you're not going to get any complaints from this for sure. So, well, absolutely. Well, thanks as always for doing it. I'll jump out and let you keep going, and we'll have a good net. And 73, it's Bozo 878.
Yeah, very good. Sounded good this evening as always, and thanks for checking in this evening. All right, let's see here. Joe, W6MYN, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, David. Good to hear you in there. Hope you're doing well. Nothing to report here near the Long Beach Airport, 496. Just got back from Lake Arrowhead and spent the weekend up there, and we're relaxing with a glass of wine, and hope you guys are doing well. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, very good. Did you hear that Claremont's going to be opening back up on the 19th?
Oh, that's great news. Awesome deal. What about TRW?
The only thing I heard about TRW
Perfect
is they had to
timing.
get permission, I guess, from the state or something. I don't know. But anyhow, yeah. I was told that Claremont is going to be open on the 19th, so I guess, that's, I'm going to try to be there and have a few trinkets for sale.
Awesome deal. Yeah, I wrote it down, so I'm going to try and make it. I'm just curious, Dave, if you could ask the gentleman who was just that HRO, whether they have restocked the user table where you could play with radios. Last time I was in there, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, it was empty. They had sold all the display radios. Could you ask him if they've restocked it?
Hey, Keith, did they restock the shows at HRO?
Well, no, but they have stuff in the back. Like they had 3 9700s, but now they only have 2, maybe even less. Because I got there like 12 o'clock.
All right, Joe, now, he said, and I think when I was in there the other day, I think there was just a couple mobiles up there, so everything else was kind of consignment they had out there on the desk to play with.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've been wanting to get in there and play with Kenwood 890, but, yeah. I could wait. All right, well, good to speak with you, Dave, and have a great week, and hope to see you soon. KB6VAN and the net, W6MYN, Long Beach.
All right, Joe, 73. And thanks for checking in this evening. Let's see, next I heard was Alex, 845. Good evening. We may need to start carrying that powder with us when we're driving on the freeway. It looks like everybody's starting to carry their own out there.
Well, you hear the sheriff say he's turning loose a bunch of criminals up there, and they're they're giving, concealed carry permits. They've opened it up and they're giving a lot more.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about what was going on, but anyway, hey, thanks for checking in, Alex, and hope you have a good week ahead.
All right, you too. 73 and 6
All right, this is David, your net control this evening for the Sunday edition of the Bozo Net. Who else is out there who'd like to check in?
463.
Good evening, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. No traffic tonight. I hope everything's well in your world, and a couple of us will be up on 144-270 after the net if they want to jump in. So have a good evening. Bozo number 463, K6EGG.
All right, Greg. Yeah, we'll see you probably after the net, see what's going on. And thanks for being out here this evening. I appreciate it. And let's see, 865. Good evening.
All right, everybody. That was my check-in on the Bozo Net. Going to slide up to 144-270 here momentarily. First, I want to bring up something that Dave brought up in the middle of the Bozo Net. That is that the ham radio swap meet is back up in Claremont. That's taking place at Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's again on June 19th between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. And the address again is at the Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. So hope to see you there. I don't think I'll be up that early, to be honest with you. But we'll see. I might stop up. I do have some stuff I need to get rid of. I have a TS2000 and a Mirage amplifier that I want to get rid of possibly, and maybe some other stuff. So I might stop up there, maybe touch base with a few folks. But I definitely won't be there at 6 a.m., I can tell you that much. So how about we get back to some radio on 144-270?
Yeah, it's cool about hearing about that ham swap meet at Claremont. I might consider taking a look next week.
Yeah, that's been a long time. That's encouraging. I wonder. I've never been to that one. I wonder. I'm sure I could find it somewhere locally, or Dave could probably give me the address.
Oh, I did. Gray was just announcing it on his live stream. He's got a flyer on it. But I don't know if it's next Saturday or the Saturday after. I can't recall. We'll have to ask Greg. But he's got the address. He's got the flyer, the whole 9 yards. It's on Claremont Boulevard, something like that, I believe. Greg, you out there?
I am. It's June 19th at 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. So it's going to be like every third Saturday coming back except for December. So it looks pretty good.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, is that, I'm trying to remember Claremont Boulevard. Is that the street that runs north of Foothill?
Yeah, it's... I have to look on the map. I think you're right. It's been a while since I've been up there.
Yeah, I think I know the street going north and south. Cool. So there you have it, Ward.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That might be interesting to see what's laying around and what's for grabs.
And Ward, I put the flyer up on the screen. If you're watching YouTube, I actually started with it. Believe it or not, something caught my eye on Facebook.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, no, I'll have to fire up YouTube because I'm actually playing with the laptop here. I'm just laying in the room here, so I'll have to fire that up. Thanks for reminding me.
And so, Mr. New owner of Icom 9700, how do you like it?
So far, really good. How do I sound? I can't wait to get to hear the live stream to see how I sound, and I'll have to like get some time with you one-on-one sometimes, so you can maybe even dial me in a little bit better with my treble bass type stuff.
It sounds pretty good right now. Too bad you can't plug in another microphone and see how it sounds. I don't know if it'll make it sound any better or be clear or something like that, but your signal is clear, your audio is clear to me.
Well, that's a good sign. If you could give me the information of what that adapter cord I would need, that'd be helpful. I could still use the same foot switch, I take it, right?
That is affirmative. Let me look that up right now.
Convenience. You don't have to do it this second. Just at your convenience. That'd be helpful. But I understand these stock mics are pretty darn good.
Yeah, they sound pretty good. I'm not using it though, to be honest with you. I like my microphone I have here.
Yeah, of course. That thing's definitely, better than there's a broadcaster's microphone there. So yeah, that's obviously going to be better than the stock microphone. So yeah, cool. That sounds great. So I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound okay. What's your gain set at?
75, powers at 97%.
So you're not running your amplifier?
Nope, I don't have it even hooked up, and my compression's at 3. Any suggestions there?
I'd boost it to 5.
There's 5, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're definitely louder now. And you said your power is at 98%?
97%, so it's a little louder, but not overmodulated.
It might be overmodulated for the local guys, but you definitely sound louder on my end.
Okay, and fairly clean sounding.
Yeah, you sound clean.
Very good. Nice. Well, yeah, like I said, sometime when we get some time, you can maybe give me some help with the treble and the bass stuff, but I don't want to take up net time right now to do it.
Nah, this isn't no net.
But that was a bad word, wasn't it? I didn't mean that. Ron Robin? Hello, go ahead, Break. Hey, Levi. How you doing? This is Keith over here. We got Ward, and we also have Greg out there.
Awesome, yeah, I think I can hear Greg out there. I heard you're coming on there as always, about a 15 over. I just want to ask you, about the current new rig. Did you turn that over?
I didn't, but I did get a 9700 yesterday, and that's what I'm talking on right now.
Yeah, Chris told me about that. You said you got me 9730. Those things are awesome.
Yeah. Are you talking about that other radio about you said you'd help me out with the chirp?
Yeah, the little QRT or whatever it is, video.
Yeah, I have, I work this next week. I'm a school teacher. I don't know if I ever told you that. If I have time, I'll dig it up, but after that, I'm off, so I'll have some more time to, dig it up, get the cord out and all that kind of stuff, and we can line up, and you can do it for me if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries. Just give me a call, anytime. I was just checking to make sure you didn't call me earlier.
No, I haven't even had time to do anything with it.
Yeah, no worries. Just checking. Maybe 6 years. I'll be here.
Hey, did you check in the Bozo net?
Yeah, I checked in over there already. They're still going.
All right, good job. Good job.
You got text.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there it is. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Let me take a look at it. HRO had the other one in stock. I hope they have this one in stock too. That'd be easy peasy instead of me having to, order online or whatever.
Yeah, you can get it in a couple of days. Using DX Engineering is pretty fast. I ordered something from them not that long ago, and I got it within 3 days.
Yeah, it's true. But if they have it in stock at HRO, that's even better. Because I have to go there in a few days because they back ordered a couple of things of mine that I got to get that I need to pick up.
Did you put any memories in your radio there or anything like that? Have you got that far with it?
No, I have not. I watched a video or two about how to do that, even with some D-Star type of stuff, but I haven't gotten to it. I talked a little bit this morning, but I really haven't been on since. It's been kind of a busy day with a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there's several different ways you can load stuff in. You can do it from the radio, or I did mine through the computer and just manually put them in through the software. I know the D-Star, I think they load them all. And something cool about this radio is if you have the Cat5 plugged into it, it can be a D-Star terminal, so you can connect to another repeater without even being on the radio, but using this radio.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I did go to Best Buy's while I was out and about today, and I got a SD card for it. So, and I formatted it, but nothing's on it quite yet. But at least I have it, so I can prep for getting the RT software and all that kind of stuff.
You're going to want to probably put the most current firmware on there. I think that's the only way you can get the RT software to work.
Yeah, I was checking. I think I got like 1.23 or 1.24. What is the latest? Do you remember?
I think it's 1.31 or 1.3. I can't remember.
Okay, well, I definitely don't have the latest, greatest then, so I'll have to do that. And I got my laptop computer back from my son today, so I have a Windows computer now where I can do some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, going from, what's it called, Mac iOS or whatever to Windows and converting stuff over and making sure the adapters work can be kind of clunky at times.
Well, can you even like download the software on a Mac to transfer it to the, the radio, the Icom software?
Nope, they don't make software for Mac at this point. At least the RT software doesn't make it for this particular Icom.
Well, I figured, so I'm glad I got my laptop, PC laptop back today. So yeah, that's the reason I bought it, just for ham radio use. I got it around January, so I will, get to it as soon as I can, all these little projects.
Oh, I get it. It's going to be I have 4 days off, and it's going to be kind of a busy week.
4 days off starting tonight, or what?
Starting tonight after my it's about 4-hour-long game today. I got a doctor's appointment down in Newport Beach tomorrow afternoon, and then got to take care of some stuff around the house.
What time's your appointment in Newport Beach?
1 p.m.
Roger that, because I'll be down there too.
Yeah, I'll kind of be right on the edge of Costa Mesa right there, just right by the John Wayne Airport.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be on the west. I work on the west side, but yeah, it's not too far.
And hopefully I'll get out of there before traffic starts at 2, but we'll see. I'd rather get this thing situated so I can get in the surgery as soon as possible.
Well, good luck with that, okay, tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know it sounds weird, but I'm looking forward to it because I know I'll be on my way of getting out of pain.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Where do you have your highs set on this radio?
Is it lows the highs?
I'm sorry, keyed on the bottom or the last part of you.
Are you at, like the highs and the lows, like the treble, the bass? Is that what you're asking, the highs?
Yeah.
Stock? I haven't even touched it, so it's probably 0-0. Any suggestions?
I would do 2 clicks up on the treble.
Okay, let me go see if I can figure that out, and I'll be right back.
I could show you how to do it on the screen here if you want.
Go ahead. Did I double with you? Yeah, I'm game.
No, you didn't. So you just go to your menu, your main menu, which I'll go here. Go to Set on the bottom right corner. Then on the right-hand side, you'll see a way to go up and down. Go to your tone control /TBW and click on that. And then click on TX. You'll see another menu of about 4 different things there. Click on SSB. And then you'll see another little thing here. Make sure you're on wide and everything like that. And your bass and everything's probably at 0, I'm assuming.
Roger. So treble and bass are at 0. My TBW wide is 100 to 2900. Does that sound okay?
Yep, that sounds good. Your mid should be the same.
It says 300 to 2700.
Wow. Mine does not say that.
The box.
I would personally add 2 clicks of treble on your microphone there.
There's 2 clicks, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, there you go. Now you sound a little clearer.
Anything else with any of this other stuff that you recommend?
I wouldn't mess with too much of it, because you're going to get yourself in a rabbit hole if we start tweaking with that stuff.
I'll live with this if you think it helped out.
Yeah, you definitely sound a little clearer now. You were sounding just a tad bit muffled.
Yeah, that was pretty easy peasy. This thing's pretty, easy to get around compared to like the 991 Alpha. A little trickier to do a lot of that type of stuff.
Yeah, I noticed I was watching some of the YouTube trying to get you through that. I'm like, wow, this is a little too much. It's like something at work I have that has like frequency roll-offs and EQ curves and stuff.
That video you sent me a week or 2 ago was awesome. And then you and I got together, remember, and you even tweaked it even better. So, yeah, that video helped me tremendously. And I sent that same thing, that video to Ward and to Fred, just for their information.
Yeah, we need to get your amplifier on this. Although it's only 60 extra watts, I don't know if we'll make that big of a deal, but you're definitely lower to me.
Yeah, I'll have to work on trying to put it in line then.
Where's your mic gain at?
Let me look. 75.
Why don't you go up to 80 or 85?
Okay, there's 85 right there. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Now you're punching through a little bit.
Oh, good. So I got the power about 97%. Might gain 85, compression 5.
A couple things. You should just run at full power. I mean, it won't make that much of a difference, but there's something in there called a TX limiter. I would highly suggest you put that thing on when you plug your amplifier in, so you don't do what I did the other night and accidentally blow your amplifier up.
TX limiter. That's a feature on the radio?
Yeah, you hit your function key, your function button down at the bottom, and go to the second page.
Is the reason for that you can limit how much power it'll push out into the amplifier so you don't blow it up because you're putting 100 watts into it and it can only handle maybe 40?
I'm sorry, I accidentally hit my key when I moved my foot. Yes, that is correct. So right now I have mine off. I'm sorry, I have mine on, and the max power my amplifier could take is 50 watts, so I set to 48.
So if you don't have your linear on, is the maximum you still go with 48 without having to mess with that setting?
No, I normally shut it off.
I see. Okay, I'll have to check. It's called, what is it called again? Let me write that one down. I wasn't aware of that feature.
It's called TX Limit.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks. I'll check into that.
Yeah, I almost blew my amplifier up, and I would put a little note by your amplifier too to let you know that you're on full power if you decide to shut your amplifier off and go full power through the radio, because I do that quite often.
Okay, very good. Well, maybe I'll take a minute and just try to plug it in and see if it makes that big of a difference.
Set your power down lower now, whatever your max setting is for that input.
Yeah, because it seems like it's a little slow on the frequency, so I guess I could, test it out without bothering a bunch of people.
Hey, this is what we do. We check stuff on here. That's the whole reason why we're doing it, so I don't mind it at all.
Okay, cool. I mean, if we had 6, 8, 10 people hanging out here, I wouldn't waste the time, with people getting a chat, but it seems like it's a little slow right now.
Usually Sunday nights it's busier, and I haven't heard Rob and Andy out here for about a week.
Yeah, ever since Andy went on vacation, which he should be back by now, I haven't heard him since.
Hey, Tony, K6EGG.
You can hear me, Greg. I'm on my mag now. So glad you can hear me.
I can barely hear you. You're right mixed in with the noise.
Roger, yeah, it's noise is a little bit louder than local. So I don't think you can hear me.
I didn't catch that very last part you said there, Tony.
You're live streaming, right?
I am affirmative, yes.
Roger, I didn't catch that.
Hey, then you can see how you're coming into me. How you're not moving my needle, unfortunately. So you don't have your regular outside antenna hooked up?
That's right. I have a HF antenna on the pole, so I'm using the net now for DHF.
Copy that. Yeah, you're kind of making a trip. I can hear you, that's for sure.
Roger. I just got the YouTube set up, and I'm trying to see if I can hear myself.
Well, the frequency in YouTube is all yours.
Comment?
Go ahead, comment.
Where is he located? I'm out in Sherman Oaks, and I can barely hear him.
Tony, are you in Garden Grove?
He's in Garden Grove? Okay, well, I'm out here in Sherman Oaks, and he's breaking my squelch, and I can make out a word or two, and that's about it. Just thought I'd give him the radio check.
Tony, you keyed with him. He overtook you. Say again? Yeah, that's Lou in Sherman Oaks, I believe. KM6FZX, if I'm correct. Lou, right?
Roger, it's me. Okay, I can hear Lou. Yeah, tell Lou I can hear him, and I said hello.
So, Lou, he can hear you okay. Obviously, you're having the same problem I'm having. I'm on the verge of not hearing him, but yeah, he's in Garden Grove.
That's interesting. I've got my beam basically pointed towards Burbank, and like I say, I can barely copy a word or two.
So you're actually pointed not in his direction. You can hear him.
It's it's weird. I'm going to try and move the beam a little bit towards him.
Maybe he's getting some reflection off the that damn hills there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Really close to the Los Alamitos Air Station. So when it's this way, then maybe it's a little better. Hey Lou, you got loud in there too. So yeah, I think you're pointing more to my direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I lost them two fellas, so I'm going to let them chat for a second. I'm going to bring up something again here. It's the Claremont Ham Radio Swap Meet, June 19th from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's over at the Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. Once again, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. on June 19th. Trying to get this out. There haven't been one of these ham swap meets for well over 18 months. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully not getting up at 6 a.m. and going over there, but at some point try to make my way over there. So the Claremont Ham Radio Swap Meet is back. It's good to have back.
So, Tony, I don't know if you're talking to Lou, but I completely lost Lou.
And hey, Tony, how's it going? And Lou, I was off for a couple of minutes trying to hook up my linear. All right, good to hear, Lou. Yeah, how about you, Greg? You hear me a little better now?
Absolutely. Did you turn your power down on your 9700?
45%. I didn't hit that. I didn't use the TX limit quite yet, but I'll get into that. But I'm pretty familiar with doing that all the time for my other radio. But I definitely like that feature you're talking about, so I'll have to, incorporate it.
You sound so effing clear right now to me, just let you know.
Really? Okay, well, I'll take that.
Like, your audio is super clear. Like, when you stop talking, I don't hear, like, noise that your other radio had. And you could probably go back and listen to your old streams from a couple days ago and decipher the difference. But you definitely sound good. I can't wait to see if the 58 makes any difference.
Yeah, definitely. Well, okay, so that was a good report. Good to hear. Thank you.
That was money well spent there, pal. Welcome to the club.
Well, as I said on the Bozo Net, the peer pressure was just too intense.
And just for the record, I never pressured you on that.
No, you didn't. And everybody that did was just all in fun. It's all in fun.
What? Good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
Sugarloaf chiming in.
Sugarloaf. Eric, what's going on? We got Keith out there. Let's see if he sounds a little different to you.
Yeah, I've been sandbagging. Yeah, he definitely does. It's a lot louder. To me, anyways.
So you can hear me okay, Eric?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you just fine. My dog's going to start barking pretty soon.
You're coming in loud and clear down here in Long Beach, too, Eric. So good talking to you.
Yeah, good deal. And are you on 9700?
Yeah, roger that.
Oh, okay, cool deal. I still got the 991.
Well, I didn't get rid of my 991.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
And I won't either. The 991 Alpha is still a fine radio.
Yeah, I like it. You know, I had the 7300, and I kind of went back to this one just because I like the way it sounds. You know, the filters and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I like the functions and everything on the 7300, but I don't know. I might go back.
Well, they're both good radios.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them.
I just can't get over how good your audio sounds now.
You're trying to give me a big head, big fat head.
You sound better than Fred.
Where is Fred tonight?
No, I hope Fred doesn't hear that.
Put 1,000 more feet of radios out.
4 more grounding rods.
I don't know what else the guy could do.
1,000-watt amplifier, maybe?
Now you're talking.
He has one. He just hasn't hooked it up yet. But he wouldn't be able to use that on his regular antenna.
Yeah, that's probably true, you know, because I don't know what he's using right now. If he's using a GP9 or something, they're only rated at 200 watts, so you'd have to make something probably.
Yeah, I think he probably has stuff too. But yeah, he's got the Diamond 17-footer. What is that? The 500 series? I forget.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they're all basically the same. The 200 watt max.
So now he's pressuring me to get on to 1.2. Doesn't cut any slack.
Yeah, you know, I think I heard him talking about that, and I'm going, well, that's great. You guys are on your own because I don't have 1.2, and I have no desire to even start that. But well, first of all, I don't have it in the radio, and there's no way I could put it in the radio. But I don't know. I was never a big, 1200 fan anyway. So, oh well.
Well, talking to Alex, there's a transverter, I think is the name of it, that you can do that with your radio, which is about $75. So there is a way.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I've heard of the transverters. I know a lot of people use them on their HF radios to run 2 meters and 440. So I know they're out there. I just don't know enough about them.
Well, he has about 3 of them, so he's familiar with using them. He claims that they do a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, copy that. Well, I don't know. I just have no desire to go up that high, you know.
Roger that. An antenna, 1.2 only, is like $160. It's like highway robbery.
Yeah, roger that. Well, you know, I don't even use 440, so you know, I just use this radio for 2 meter, and then you know, I listen in on HF, and that's it. I don't even use 440, so I know I would never use 1200.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, I'm going to pass it on. I've been talking a lot here, you guys.
I don't even have my 440 side of my duplexer hooked up anymore. I'm strictly VHF at this point.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, you can't run it through your amplifier. That's the problem. You know, but you would almost need a duplexer of some sort or an antenna switch to get around that. But I don't know. I've never done a lot of 440 and never had any desire to. So I mean, 2 meters. That's all I need. I don't need nothing else.
The 9700 has a 2 meter VHF antenna, which is whatever, like UHF connector, whatever it is, and the has another output for actually has 3 outputs, to be honest with you. One for 1.2 and the other one for 440, and the 440 is an N connector, I believe.
Yeah, well, the 9100, the 1200 is an add-on. You know, if you just buy a 9100, it doesn't come with 1200. You have to get that separate, and then you add that. But I believe you're right on the 440. I think it's got its own antenna port, and then I think it's got one or two for HF, if I'm not mistaken, and then it's definitely got one for 2 meters.
Does the radio you're talking on right now, does the radio you're talking on have HF?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's got HF and a built-in antenna tuner for HF too. So yeah, it's got HF.
That's beautiful. My TS2000 has that, and that's something I really liked about the TS2000 is that's actually the second thing I really liked about it, other than the crossband repeat, was the built-in antenna tuner. You just hit the one button, you hear it, and boom, it's done.
Yeah, you know, when I first retired 8 years ago, I bought me a brand new 9100 that didn't have the 1200 in it, and I love that radio because, I mean, a full 100 watts on everything, and I think it was maybe 75 watts on 440, but I never used it anyways. But the only thing I don't like about that radio now is you know, it's kind of outdated. It doesn't have the waterfall or the scope or whatever you want to call it. It didn't have that feature, so that's the only thing I didn't like about it.
One quick second, I got an email that came through.
So, Eric, are you running a little bit of power right now?
Oh, yeah, I'm always running power, else nobody be able to hear me.
And again, you're talking about the 991 Alpha, right?
Yes, that is correct, 991 Alpha. And I've got my RF power at 40 running the amplifier, and then I've got my mic gain at about 70%.
Yeah, you're coming in nice and clear tonight.
Well, good. Yeah, you are too. And, you know, moving up that mic gain a little bit really does make a difference. So, you know, I don't know if I want to go any higher than 70, you know, running the amplifier either. I mean, that's pretty much maxed out, I think.
On my 991 Alpha, that's about where I was, like 70, 75, maybe max, I forget. So, yeah, I'm surprised I'm at 85 on this one, but Greg says that's, you know, sounds good up there, so I'm going to leave it for now.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, I've been really contemplating whether or not I wanted to break down and get the 9700. I mean, it just seems like it's got some nice features on it, and I know a lot of people are using them, but I don't know if I want to mix and match, you know.
I understand why they have the 3 different coax cables, but man, I like the 991 Alpha where you can like have one antenna, you can run 2 meters and 440 off the same antenna without a duplexer and all that kind of stuff, or a separate antenna.
Yeah, that is one nice feature with this radio. The only problem is like if you're running an amplifier on, you know, like on 2 meters, you can't use 440. You'd have to hook it up to another antenna switch. I think you'd need like 3 antenna switches to make it work. And yeah, no thanks.
Well, actually, just a week ago Saturday, I got an antenna switch and did exactly what you're saying. Actually, you can get away with 2 switches because that's what I have. But just last week, I bought one, a Delta AB switch, so I could do that. And now maybe I'll hook it up for this one. I don't know. Well, no, I don't need to. I can't do, you know. Well, actually, I don't know. No, I can't do it with this one.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I was running 2 antenna switches.
So real quick, with those two are talking, trying to get this in there as much as possible. It is good to be back. It is good to have the ham radio swap meet back. June 19th between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. at Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. That is in the city of Claremont, and the zip is 91711. Again, June 19th. That is a Saturday, and that's at the Granite Creek Community Church over on Claremont Boulevard. So it's at 6 a.m. between 11 a.m. So bring all kinds of good junk you have, and somebody, your junk might be somebody's treasure. So go and check it out.
We had a chance to use Fusion on it.
Oh, on your 991?
I was just wondering whether or not you guys have tried Fusion Simplex, because it's a trip.
And I've done Fusion Simplex also. Yes, I've done both.
That's cool. Yeah, I like the 91A. As a matter of fact, I ordered another one.
Who are we talking to right now? Oh, hey, Lou. Didn't even recognize you. Sorry about that. Yeah. So you're going to have two of them, huh?
I like it so much. I want to segregate one for just HF and then have the other one for 2-meter sideband and all that.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Eric, you able to hear Lou tonight?
That's a big negative.
I heard about that swap meet thing on the 19th, I believe it is, in Claremont. I might go check that out. That sounds like something fun to do.
Hi, say hi, Haley. Say hi, Haley. Say hi, Radio World. Okay.
Sorry, boys, I got sidetracked there.
Yeah, he's talking to Lou. I think I can't hear him. So you guys carry on.
Yeah, Lou was saying, Eric, that he's so impressed with the 991 Alpha that he's going to get a second one.
Well, I'm glad he likes it. That's cool. You know, everybody's got their preference, you know. Hey, I'm going to step back, so go ahead, Greg. Pick it up.
Actually, I'm going to say goodnight to my daughter. I'll be back in about 10 or so minutes. This is Greg, K6EGG. And real quick, Eric, I have the YouTube stream going. I don't know if you've ever checked it out, so you can kind of hear yourself if you want.
I've checked it out. I haven't recently, but maybe I'll get on there tonight and rewind it a little bit.
All right, cool. I'll be right back.
Thumbs up for the night. And poof, it went to 3. I wonder if Curtis is out there. AJ60, Curtis, you out there sandbagging? Hello, this is Keith, WA6QXA calling.
Hey, I was number 2 to give a thumbs up. AJ60.
Well, do you hear me on my 9700?
I've been sandbagging, yeah. I've been listening. It sounds wonderful.
Oh, there we go. Well, cool. Well, thank you. And then Greg pulled my leg to go ahead and hook up the linear to it, so I put the linear in line also.
Yeah, you're sounding fantastic. Just for your information, I have my treble on +2 and the bass on +3. Just so you know.
Okay, he suggested I put the treble on +2 because out of the box it's 0, 0, and I went +2. And he told me he didn't say anything about the bass. I just left it alone. You think I should maybe try increasing it?
I think the treble is right. It's right where it's supposed to be. And now it's a question of if you want more bass or not. Just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, I can hear you up there, Eric and Sugarloaf. I was at Big Bear. Was it yesterday? Went hiking and went on a picnic with my oldest son, my grandson. It was absolutely gorgeous. I guess he left. W6GLA. Anyway, WA6QXA. And I heard Tony in there, KN6KYV on his magnetic mounts. So glad to hear him back on the frequency. So, Keith, what do you think of the 9700? It sounds like you turned up the bass.
This is Tony. If you can pass it along, I can hear Curtis and I can hear Eric.
Very good.
And that's off your mag mount, correct?
My beam antenna, I can hear you stronger on it.
Give a shout out to them, see if they can hear you.
Still stronger on my vertical. Anyway, nice to have you back in the saddle again, my friend.
Oh, Curtis, was that for Tony? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, that's surprising. But, hey, thanks. Hey, it's good to be back.
Yeah, I switched over to my beam antenna, and I can hear you on my beam, and I can just barely not hear you on my vertical antenna. But yeah, you're like a S2, maybe a 3, something like that. No problem.
Oh, okay. Hey, good to hear from you, and hope you are well. And I can also hear Eric out there too. So yeah, good deal.
Okay, Tony. Yeah, and I heard your brother on. I think, does he have a Yaesu radio where he can get on C4 FM? I think I heard him on America's Link.
Yeah, I think he's playing with that lately. So yeah, you probably heard him.
Yeah, I thought I heard him a few times on C4 FM. I recognized his call sign, and at first I thought it was you. Not that his voice is the same as yours, but the way he pronounces his words and stuff, it's almost exactly the same as you do.
Yeah, that's right. When I hear a recording of myself, I think I'm hearing him. So yeah, it got me full too.
Yeah, it's amazing how siblings and brothers and fathers and sons are so they're so alike. I even find myself doing things and mannerisms that I remember my dad used to do.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. You know, and now I look at myself in the mirror. I'm beginning to see my brother. You know, yeah.
Yeah, and when I was younger, I looked more like my mother, but as I got older, I looked more like my dad. The only difference is my dad had a full head of hair, and I am bald, so I don't know what happened there, but I guess baldness comes on your mother's side of the family, because my dad and my grandfather, they had a full set of hair all the way up to their 80s.
Roger. You know, I still have my hair, and so did my grandfather and my dad, so I guess I got it from my dad. So it's from my dad's side.
Yeah, that's, you know, I didn't choose to have what I have, so I'm beginning to like to wear a baseball hat more than I used to. You know, my wife says, "Oh, I like you the way you are. You remind me of Jean-Luc Picard on Star Trek. He was bald, and I thought he was sexy."
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, you need to wear a hat, right? The sun is intense. You know what? I'm beginning to wear a hat too, more and more, so for different reasons. My hair is all messed up in the morning. I can't fix it.
KN6KYV, this is AJ60. Yeah, I tell everybody I hate the wind up in the high desert because it really messes up my hair. Of course, I don't have no hair, so I'm trying to be a funny boy.
Roger. Yeah, hey, back to you guys, KN6KYV. Good to hear all, and nice to be back. And, and Keith, yeah, your radio sounds really good. And congratulations on the new radio.
Thanks, Tony. Okay, so Curtis, did you go on the beam or something? Because I kind of lost you when you started talking to Tony.
Oh, You still there, Keith?
You guys doubled.
You still there, Keith?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I kind of lost you when you talked to Tony, so I figured maybe you must have went to the beam or something.
Yeah, see how weird that is? Because usually, almost always, I have to be on my beam to hear you, but with your new radio, I'm on my vertical.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought usually it was the vertical with me, but the beam for Fred. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, it varies night to night, but usually most of the time I have to be on my beam to hear you stronger, so I don't know. That just shows you it's that, as Rob says, voodoo RF.
Roger, but you're picking Tony up on his little mag mount, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I could just barely not hear him on my vertical, but he comes in like a S3 on my beam antenna.
Okay, Roger. All right.
Anyway, howdy, Ward, W6WWDAJ60.
Hey, good evening, Curtis. How you doing? Good to hear you out there. Hope all is well. Just been copying the mail here. Everything good with you?
Everything has been wonderful. I don't think it got over 100 degrees today. Yesterday, I think it was like 102. And a couple of days before that, it got up to 107. Let's see, Memorial Day, it was 100. It got up to 104. So today was a pretty nice day.
Yeah, roger that. Well, good deal. Yeah, I was talking with John, K6, USS, KG6 USS, I believe. And he said it was got a little breezy and actually seemed to get a little chilly out for him out there today.
Yeah, when it's under 100, he gets chilly. He likes the hot weather, and he lives about 22 miles from me, and he's about 1,200 feet higher in elevation, so it gets cooler at his house, and I think it gets a little bit more windy than it normally gets at my house.
Oh, roger that. Yeah, now that you mentioned, I've been through feeling and so forth. Yeah, that's on the way you get to Lake Los Angeles and all that, right? Is it going towards that area?
Yeah, and he's got a perfect place to get into Lancaster, Palmdale, and Bakersfield, all that area. Of course, he's 1,200 feet higher, and he's up next to the mountains, and the mountains kind of act like a reflector to shoot out to the east and stuff. Yeah, he hears people I can't possibly hear.
The beauty of having the height, that is for sure. Well, you're sounding good as always. Good hearing from you as well, so I won't tie it up, but just been sitting here relaxing. So great to hear you, Curtis, and I will talk to you soon, I'm sure. AJ60, all the best, W6WWD.
Okay, Warren, I'm just assuming that you are using your radio as through a remote. And the only way I can tell is there's kind of like a funny little sound when you first key up, but sounds like you've got the audio tweaked in there almost exactly the same as you were talking directly off your radio, which you are, but remotely, I'm assuming.
You're Roger. Good ears. Yeah, I'm actually just in a different room testing it out, and you are 100% correct.
That's pretty impressive, Curtis.
It sounds really good. It's pretty cool. I mean, every time you get a new toy and you figure something out, you kind of play with it, a little bit more than you normally would. Like I just bought a new Anytone 8782 Pro DMR radio, and it does UHF, VHF analog also, and it is so nice, so cool. So I've been listening to that all day long, ever since I got it yesterday. Anyway, talk to you later, Ward. W6WWD-AJ60.
Hey, Roger, Curtis. Well, good deal. Good hearing from you. Enjoy your new radio. That's awesome. I hear those Anytones are nice and loud, and the batteries last a long time from what I read or heard as well. So, all right, 73, I'll back out of here, and we'll talk to you again. AJ60, W6WWD.
Hey, Curtis, that's a pretty good ear. I was about ready to say the same thing. I just popped on. I thought he was on it earlier, but I couldn't tell for sure. But once again, very good ear. K6EGG.
Yeah, I'm sure you can hear that little kind of thing when you key down, which is not a normal thing on a normal microphone. So you can tell it's electronically kind of a delay before the audio goes through. But it sounds good. I mean, it sounds almost exactly as he was talking right off from his microphone.
Yeah, that WF software, I think he's using a WF software, whatever it's called. It's pretty impressive. The audio on there is really good. I can't wait to try that on a road trip.
Yeah, I would download it and use it myself, but I can't think of any other place I want to be to talk on my radio except where my radio is. But I do like to do crossband repeat. I got a couple radios to do that, so you would think I wouldn't mind. But software is not exactly my thing. My oldest son usually has to help me with the software things. Of course, when computers first came out, I jumped in with both feet. I learned how to do, basic programming, assembly language programming, C++, a bunch of different programming languages, and I wrote programs for the company I worked for. But computers, as you know, they advance so fast and so quickly. Unless you stay on top of it, you fall behind, and I have fallen behind.
Yeah, basically, if you're not ahead of it, you're behind. I know how you feel. I don't really understand some of the newer stuff. I'm getting there. I work in the ever-changing business of technology, so I got to keep my toes in the water for at least another 15 or so more years with that sort of stuff. As for software, you're just mentioning about your son helping you out. I think Keith helped you out with Zoom the other day, didn't he?
He did. I heard you. I was there at the night that you asked him, hey, there's nobody on. It's just you and me. You want to try Zoom thing and see if I can put you on the live stream? And so I was there the whole time listening, and I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? Keith is a teacher. He does Zoom almost every day, so I'm sure he's, technologically minded. Software, he probably already has his computer all set up. All he had to do is just flip a switch and turn on the lights and have it go. And I go, wow, now that is cool. So I decided, hey, I want to do that. So, and I'm thinking, I tried my laptop computer because it has a built-in camera and a microphone, and it looked terrible. And it just so happens the day before I bought a GoPro Hero 8, and I looked on that and go, this could be used as a webcam streaming thing. So I tried it, and it works fantastic. I mean, 1080p, really super high resolution. I downloaded Zoom. I was able to kind of figure it out. Okay, I think I'm good to go. I just need to have somebody kind of invite me into a Zoom room or whatever it is. I didn't know exactly how you did that. So Keith gave me his number, and I called him to join, and voila, it works.
Well, maybe in the coming week here, since I have 4 days off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, may have to try to have either one or both of you guys on the stream. I think I can only do one square, so I don't know how that would work with the Zoom software changing it. But I would definitely like to give it a try if you're game. I can hit you up about your antennas and all kinds of good stuff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've got, and I have a USB Audio Techniques microphone that plugs into my laptop, so I got the audio. I just happen to have an LED lamp that my son bought me for Christmas a couple years ago, and it's got, you know, different settings. You can push the button and change the different the colors and the different brightnesses. So, hey, it's almost like it was meant to be. Absolutely, yes.
Hey, and by the way, if you're watching the chat, and it may be that way, Andy's listening. He's sandbagging on the stream.
I'm sandbagging on the radio too.
That's the better way to sandbag. That's the old school way.
I just didn't want to interrupt.
Hello, Andy.
Hey y'all, I heard you join the club.
Yeah, as I probably said way too many times, but the peer pressure was just too intense. But I was hoping to get to talk to you when you were on vacation, but I never heard you.
No, I didn't have the internet stuff set up right. It works at home. It doesn't work away, and I don't know enough about it, so I have given up so far. I'll figure it out. I just haven't had time to play with it. I just talked to Rush on 20 meters, man. I'm stoked.
Well, tell me when you talk to Rush on 2 meters.
That'll be tomorrow.
Now, congratulations. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, well, welcome to the club. Congratulations as well.
Thanks. I'm digging it.
So you want to sell your 991 yet?
Nope. It's not for sale.
I don't know. I can give you $50, maybe 60.
Yeah, it's got some things that this doesn't have so I'm not willing to part.
Yeah, like HF?
Roger.
Yeah, they're both great radios, man.
Yeah, so Curtis, you're equipped. You're ready to do it. So I'll step aside and let you and him do it, you know, and I'll watch and enjoy it because I'd like to hear him quiz you on all your antenna stuff too.
Hey, I'm just like everybody else. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I see something online or in the catalogs that HRO DX Engineering send me, and I just click here and I buy it, and I just read the instructions and see how it works. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know you have a antenna farm, so that'd be cool if you could have a little conversation with Greg on it and a live stream. That'd be cool.
Hey, well, I'm in the coming days off that he has, and I'm usually sandbagging, listening to everything. Oh, by the way, the 991A, it does have a duplexer. It's built inside the radio.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's the only reason why you can have UHF and VHF off of one antenna port in the back.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
The 9700, that's why it does not have a duplexer, because that's why it's got 3 separate antenna ports, and it also has 3 separate power amplifiers. So the amplifier that it uses for VHF is not used when you switch over to UHF, and for 1.2 gigahertz, it uses a different preamplifier. So there's 3 preamplifiers or power amplifiers inside the 9700, which is wow. I didn't even know that until I downloaded the user's manual or the advanced thing, if you ever had to fix it. And wow, I discovered that's pretty cool.
That is cool. It's a pretty sophisticated radio.
It is, and there's no user serviceable parts inside.
So, Andy, let me ask you, how was vacation anyway?
It was good. It was good. We ended up coming back a day early because my daughter had to walk. We thought we had her a ride back, but that fizzled out. So we ended up coming back on Monday, which traffic was good. We left in the morning, but it was nice, man. It was a little bit warm out there. On Sunday, we spent probably half the day in the trailer just watching TV because it was 98 degrees out there. But had a good time.
All right, good. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yep. We had some people come up and had a pretty good turnout. We ended up going down to a little town called Cayucas.
and hung out there for one of the days. It was a good time.
Yeah, Cayucas is right on the coast, right?
Yeah, my sister lived there during college days. She went to San Luis Obispo or whatever when she was out that way, but that's where she lived. I just remember it was being a cool town. That's the first time I've been back in, I don't know, 10 years or something, 15 years.
Yeah, my son went to that school too. Wow, Cayucas is a little bit of a jaunt to get to the school, though.
Yeah, I don't remember what the drive was, but at the time it wasn't a big deal. Maybe traffic's more now. The town sure looked a lot busier, but still a cool little town.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's north of Morro Bay by, I forget how many miles.
Yeah, it's not much, though.
My son is a golfer, and his last 2 years, he was working on the golf course in Morro Bay, which is just overlooking the bay. So he was pretty fortunate with that job. It was a pretty cool gig.
What kind of work on a golf course does he do?
This is when he was going to college. He was, a starter. He'd work behind the counter and, get people checked in and all that kind of stuff, take their money, those types of things.
Oh, very cool.
The coolest thing, though, was he got free golf, because before that, I was paying his golf, so it was, that was a big help to the budget for me, anyway.
Heck yeah, man. That's a lot of money per round.
I remember one time I went and visited him. It was summertime, and usually San Luis Obispo, it's very comfortable, but this is a heat wave situation where it's like 95 to 100, in that range, between 95 and 100. So we went to Morro Bay just to get out of the heat, and since he got free golf, we golfed and, rode around the cart, to stay out of the heat. It literally dropped 30 degrees, and it was like maybe 10 miles.
Wow. Isn't Morro Bay where that big rock is sticking out of the water or whatever? Isn't that the same spot? It can't be that far away.
Yeah, I love that area up there, though.
Me too.
And I know Rob does too. His daughter's going there now. They go up there and visit here and there.
Yeah, there's a little taco stand, I can't remember the name. It started with an R, but it's right on the water there, somewhat close to the pier. And I didn't know about it. I mean, I don't know how long it's been there, but my son-in-law was like, hey, come check it out, man. We got to go down there and get these tacos. And, man, it was good. Smoked fish tacos.
Was this in Morro Bay or Cayucas?
Cayucas.
All right, we'll have to check that out sometime when I go back up there. We like to go up there just to vacation. It's a nice area. But anyway, it's good to hear you back on the radio, Andy.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a few days again. My wife was saying it starts with an R, so I don't remember the exact name, but it's Smokehouse Tacos. So like Rodrigo's Smokehouse Tacos or something like that. This week I've got a bunch of people visiting from out of state, so probably going to have a bunch of dinners and stuff. We probably won't talk to you guys till Thursday or Friday. I'm going to be working like Greg this week.
Okay, roger that.
I'm off this week.
Well, I guess that's my turn to take it over.
After this week, I'm off for like 8 weeks.
That sounds awesome.
Curtis is off forever.
Woo-hoo! I didn't think I'd ever get here, but thank God I did.
So jealous.
One thing that a lot of people don't know about teachers, though, that 8 weeks they have off, they don't get paid. So it's not like, and they can't collect unemployment either.
Why can't they collect unemployment?
You just can't.
I don't know. You seem to have bought a lot of amateur radio equipment in the last couple months.
And that stimulus money's come in handy.
You've got to be run out by now.
Yeah. I got to call it quits for a while.
Need to buy a 101 MP and then call it quits.
Well, I got to get the antenna up first and play around with it and learn the ropes on my 991 before I start jumping into that lake.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness.
It's just like music equipment. You never have it all. You constantly have to buy new stuff.
Yeah, I've learned that one. Hey, by the way, Curtis, so you got not an Alico, you got the Autotone or whatever it's called radio just recently?
Yeah, I have the Anytone 868, which I bought a couple years ago, and at that time there were about 100,000 registered users on DMR, and the radio would hold a maximum of 160,000 users. Well, right now we're at 200,000 registered DMR users, so I have 40,000 short people that will not fit in my old radio, so I bought a new one. I bought the 878 2 Plus, which holds 500,000, and I just got it yesterday. Fantastic radio.
Did you get it shipped to you, or did you go down the HRO, or what?
HRO does sell it, but I bought it from bridgecom.com because they give you a few extra goodies. It was the same price, but you get an external microphone, another extra battery, and an upgraded antenna for the same price. So I went through them.
So Fred's hot to trot to get a 220 radio. And he wanted a Linko 220 radio, but they're just not available anymore. But I think Anytone has a 220 radio out there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they sell a mobile radio that would do 220. I don't think it puts out a whole lot of watts. The Anytone handy talkie can be cracked open to do 2 meters, 220, and 440. But it only puts out, I think, maybe 2 watts on 220, so it's not worth the risk to me.
Oh, no, he wants a mobile rig.
Do the batteries from the older model fit on the newer model?
They do. They're both exactly the same.
That's what I thought. It kind of looked like it in the pictures. I don't know. I kind of put the mic down on the DMR side, but if I get back into it, I'll probably do that.
Well, I like it because it does analog too. So I have a lot of just normal repeaters plugged into it.
Yeah, it is a good little radio. I mean, I bought mine, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, like you did. The original one, 868 or whatever. It's a great little radio.
Yeah, it is. You know what? I have never run the battery down where I needed to charge it to keep going. It's always been at least 1 or 2 bars.
Yep, I used it a lot with my RF Shark at the house here, and it was a mobile radio for a while. Put an external antenna on it and a mag mount on top of the car.
Yeah, I think when it comes to DMR, I think they make the very best. I did a lot of research before I bought my first one, I have an open spot too, which, it's like having your own built-in repeater, and I converted it over and I did C4FM on it for a while. Then I just converted it back to, or reprogrammed it back to DMR. It'll do D-Star, so that will probably be my next adventure.
Yeah, is the open spot too the one that's Wi-Fi or whatever?
It is. It's completely Wi-Fi. The only cord that plugs into it is the power supply.
Yeah, that's great. That's one you can take on the road with you. Use it in the car and talk to anyone you want.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. I know the OpenSpot 3 is battery operated, so it does not have any cords whatsoever. My problem is where I want to put it, where I keep it, so that it works the best. So I can go anywhere on my two-acre property and get into the hotspot. My youngest grandson likes anything that blinks different colors up and on, so I had to move it and hide it from him.
Yeah, that's a bit of a lure there.
Yeah, DMR is it's a lot of fun. I think it's cool. Hey, anybody who hasn't tried it, they should get into it. It's when the HF bands are dead and nobody's on it, 2 meters or 440, then there's always somebody on DMR.
Yeah, same thing with Fusion though, right? If you get into some of the rooms there, like America Link and all that, all the digital modes seem to have that busy section or whatever. It's kind of nice to have.
Yeah, America Link is like the busiest for C4, and Talk Group 9100 worldwide is the busiest for DMR. And was it Talk Group 3100 USA seems to be, for Americans, seems to be the most popular.
Yep. I bought I can't remember, it's CS CompuServe or anyway, I bought a mobile unit from somebody in LA. I forget the name already, and it was a great little radio. Had a removable face, which is why I bought it. It worked for the setup I had at the time, but I got to reprogram it and do something with it. It's just sitting in a box right now.
Well, pretty much all amateur radio operators have radios stashed somewhere that they're not using. I've got ones that I don't use, and I don't probably never use it in my life. Some of them I just give away to people who don't have any, or they have one and it breaks and they don't want to have it fixed. I just give them one of mine. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, eventually. Keith will pack rat a bunch of radios he probably never uses, and eventually he'll probably go to one with kids or something. That's just all part of the hobby.
So true. Connect Systems, I think, is what the radio's called. But anyway, it's Papa System guys seem to like that one too. I noticed there's a bunch of programming, whatever you call them. I can't remember the name now. But anyway, they've got those all over the internet for them.
Yeah, code plugs. Yeah, definitely. Code plugs are not exactly the easiest things to do. I can do them now that I can. If I see a working software program, I can go through see all the different places and routines and things that it does, and I can program it. But off the bat, and since it's a Chinese radio and they don't think like we do in America, it's almost impossible. So thank God for Bridgecom and the Papa systems, which allow you to download free code plugs for DMR radios.
Yeah, absolutely. AJ6BE. If I see something that's kind of done, I can go from there, and that's exactly what I did. I got like a starter code plug, and then added all my local repeaters and a few others that I wanted in there, and yeah, it's cool. I set up a couple where if I'm driving from Northern or Southern California to Northern California, and I want to stay on 3100, what repeaters have that, and that's one of the areas where I could just flip by one channel at a time and drive all the way up the coast. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, one of my neighbor's friends up here in High Desert, John, K6EGG, he just recently bought a Anytone radio, and he bought a hotspot, and he uses his phone as the Wi-Fi link. And I talked to him while he was driving all the way up to Northern California on Talk Group 3100, and it was pretty cool. Now, the newest radio, the one I just bought, has a roam feature. It's supposed to be able to automatically find all the repeaters no matter where you are. I have not yet tried that, but I probably will in the next few weeks.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't realize the new one had that. That's worth its weight in gold when you're traveling.
It is, and I guess it has Bluetooth. Big wow for me. I don't really care. Don't care about Bluetooth. And it has APRS. It'll receive and transmit, which is cool. When I go places far, I always like to turn my APRS on. So then I tell one of my family members, if you want to see where I am, just go to aprs.fi.com and type in my call sign, and you'll see exactly where I am.
Yep, isn't that neat? I do that with my FTM 400 in the car.
Yeah, I follow my son. He works in Yorba Linda, and he lives up here in the high desert, and he runs APRS every time he goes to work. And so I follow him, and I talk to him on the Simplex until he gets back up here in the high desert, and he uses APRS. It's pretty cool. I can tell him where all the traffic is, because there's a traffic feature on that map, and it'll show you where all the slowdowns and where it's kind of like a GPS that'll warn you that you got traffic ahead. I can see it ahead of time, and it's in real time. I can tell him exactly, which way he should go, and don't go the 91.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, I'm going to say 7-3s all the way around, past my bedtime again. Good talking with all of you. Good to catch y'all out here. I'll be on 5-2 probably in the car driving around, or maybe on the SoCal link for Fusion. But anyway, guys, good talking with you. Hope you all have a great week. We'll catch you next time. AJ6BE, I'll be clear.
Okay, Andy, AJ6BE, AJ60. 73s, my friend, and enjoy living. Every day, it's a blast. Go ahead, Keith. I'll flip it back over to my vertical so you can probably hear me.
Hey, Andy, have a good evening too there, bud. I'll be listening here and there on 5-2 and maybe give a call out to you, see if you hear me if you're mobile around. K6EGG, Chino. Yeah, and Keith, you still out here, Mr. New 97-100 or 97-100 owner?
I'm still here. Just shooting the ball and listening to the conversation. Want to say 73 to Andy if you didn't hear me.
Hey, Curtis, I have a question. Are you still running that little EQ thing before your radio and after your microphone for your 9700?
No, I'm using the stock hand microphone. I have it here, and I can always hook it back up. It's pretty cool, but I find it. I use it with a desk mic whenever I use it, to the Icom SM50. But I find it so much nicer just to grab the microphone off the mobile microphone, so I can kick back, swing in my chair, and don't have to, sit up and talk into a microphone.
Well, that's good that I had a question for you, because I wanted to see if you had your stock microphone on. What's your EQ settings, just for reference for Keith, because I had him add a couple notches of high end or treble in, and to me, it personally improved his audio to me. So I just wondered where you're at on your sideband transmit EQ levels.
Let's see. Well, I have my mic gain at 65%. I have the compression on 6. The treble I have +2. And the bass on +3.
Oh, wow. +3. You want to give that a try there, Keith?
What, turn my bass up 2 or 3?
Yeah, give it a whirl, man.
All right, give me a moment. By the way, while you're away, I was talking to Curtis, and it seems like he's game to be up on the screen next time. So I'll take a back seat and let Curtis do it, and you can do the hit him up with questions about his antenna farm. I'd love to hear that.
Sure, we could actually just do more of a YouTube thing than doing it over the radio, maybe. I don't know. Or we could do both. There's just a little bit of a lip sync issue that I still have not figured how to work out.
And for you guys wondering why I keep moving around, my lower back's hurting because I have 2 hernias in the front.
So I pressed a button, now there's something going on that I wasn't wanting. So I guess I forget kind of how to do it again.
So you press the menu, then the bottom right, set, and then you'll see like tone or something like that. Hit that, then hit the TX side of it. And we might have to have you drop your gain down a little tiny bit if you turn up the bass.
Okay, there's 2 plus 2 right there with the bass testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh yeah, I can't wait till you get your SM58 plugged in.
Do I need to turn the gain down now or what?
No, actually, to me you sound good. What do you think, Curtis?
Yeah, I think it helps. Definitely, I have my bass at +3. You got it at +2. I think it sounds better. And the treble, I've messed with it a bunch of times, and I would definitely never go over +2 because it gets kind of screechy.
All right, roger that. I'll go with that for right now. Good. Thanks for your guys' assistance in getting me dialed in with this mic setting.
Now, were you in the same position where you held that before you transmitted last time?
What do you mean?
You just sounded different right there than you did right when after you changed it.
I don't know why. I feel like maybe I'm further distance from the mic or something.
I don't know. It just sounded different.
In a bad way, I take it.
You sound a little more muffled.
Am I too close to the microphone? Is that better?
That's actually better for me. And how do you feel about that, Curtis?
Yeah, I always hold my microphone about 2 inches away from my mouth, and I do talk rather loud. So, as Greg knows, the proximity effect on microphones, you definitely get more bass if you talk closer and less if you get farther away.
And it's not necessarily on every microphone.
Okay, I turned my mic gain down a little bit because I have a tendency to hold the mic pretty close to my face. Because when you said it sounded better, I was like 6 inches away from the mic, Greg.
Actually, you sounded better with your mic gain up.
Turn back up. I'll just go a little further from the mic, I guess.
Curtis, there's a technology, actually it's in the microphone that I'm talking into now, called variable D. It's a proximity effect. So right now I am, 3-4 inches away from the microphone, and as I'm getting closer, it's not making too much of a difference in the low end.
Yeah, that is what separates a cheap microphone from a really good one. The RE20 is definitely, high class, high technology, very good engineering. How they do that, I don't know. It's maybe some kind of built-in compressor limiter, something, or frequency limiter, possibly.
I can actually explain it to you. With the variable D technology, basically they have a huge, I'm going to point this microphone over at the screen here. Let me get, that's not what I wanted. They have a huge microphone elements right here, and it's actually kind of got a little bit of direction into it, even though it's not, even though it's a cardioid. And the grill on the outside makes it out of phase. So if I cover the sides, you can actually hear stuff in my background, what's changing the front element. So as it gets closer, as the way the variable D works, as it gets closer to the microphone, the actual element inside looks for the audio of my higher frequencies in the middle before my lows, because of the way the rejection on the side works. It's pretty amazing how it works.
Yeah, see, that's smart people figure that kind of stuff out, where, you know, phasing is everything. And not only does it work in sound, it works the same way in RF, where you can have multiple reflections of a signal that you're hearing, and if it goes out of phase, it sounds really tinny type of stuff, and if it's in phase, it kind of adds to it, and it sounds much better. But yeah, I can understand how the side grills kind of change the phase if you're getting closer, and makes it, well, I don't understand it exactly, but I can visualize it in my head, how the phasing would change or reinforce what they want it to be.
It's actually pretty simple. The grill on the outside, like on the shotgun microphones, like you'd see long Sennheiser microphones, as well as this one, it's out of phase with the front of it. So if you cover the grill, it basically turns your microphone into a wider pattern, because it doesn't have any reference as when it had the grill on the side. Does that make sense?
It does. So the little holes on the side are there for a purpose. They don't, I'm sure some people think, well, can't you just talk into the side of it? And they probably don't know. Well, no, it's made to talk directly into.
You actually can. I could do it right now to give you a demonstration. You could hear the audio being out of phase with the front of it. If I cover the front, you can actually hear me on the side like this. See, like this? I can rub the microphone too. But to get it to work, I had to cover the microphone to knock the reference out of phase.
Wow, how cool is that? That's pretty amazing. Yeah, the Icom SM50 that I use with this little equalizer thing I got, it's a dynamic microphone, and it's got slits and holes on the side too, and a built-in windscreen type of thing, and it definitely you could definitely tell it's not a cheapie. And that guy up in Sugarloaf, Eric, where he's got that $400 Icom, not Icom, but Yaesu microphone that has a combination condenser and dynamic. I mean, that is really special.
There's actually some studio microphones Keith and I were talking about, and feel free to jump in whenever you wish there, Keith. I know you're playing with your radio. There's something called a Neumann 87 N87, or I'm really bad at model numbers. I think it's in the 80s. I think it's 87. It actually has 3 different condenser microphone elements built into one, and there's just settings on the back of it that runs about I think $3,800 or something like that. But an incredible microphone. So each one of these, this microphone I'm talking into, as opposed to a condenser, they both sound really good, but you want to utilize it for what you're using. Like what I'm using this for is radio, and I want it to sound good for radio. But if I wanted to have my YouTube stream sound really good, I'd bring out my Neumann TLM 103. That'd sound a lot crisper. My voice would be a lot more natural. So every microphone has its purpose. So that's one of the biggest things I've learned with using different microphones the past, 20 years.
K6EGG, AJ60, and WA6QXA. Yeah, I've always been into music as long as I've been alive, so I have a lot of studio microphones. Nothing real expensive. I have the NT1, I think it's made by Rude, and another Rode microphone. I can't remember the model number, and another tube microphone, which is a condenser, and then this microphone that I hooked up for the Zoom. It's made by Audio Techniques. It is a condenser microphone. It plugs into the USB port, and I bought it about 5 years ago because I thought, wow, now I might use this someday. Well, the first time I ever used it was a couple days ago when I talked to Keith on the Zoom, and it is, I think it's called an AT2020 by Audio Techniques. It looks cool. It's got little blue LED lights that makes me feel like I'm real important, and it sounds good, at least through my headphones.
I'd love to check it out. I know Keith's microphone he was using for the Zoom. It sounded like he was in the office with me, plugged directly into my mixer. I wouldn't have known he was 45 miles away, probably going through 5,000 miles worth of data servers throughout the country. But he definitely sounded good. Sounded like he was in the studio with me here, or my office with me, I guess I should say. So I'm interested to see how your microphone sounds to me. And by the way, I don't know if you have a way to look out the window right now. It's 15 till 9. The sun's just finally starting to see twilight right now. It is absolutely beautiful, like kind of a sparkly blue dark sky.
Yeah, I have a window in my bedroom right here, and it looks to the north, so I can see the sun going down behind the mountains, and it's got, like orange near the top of the mountains, and it gets clearer as it goes up. It's I see that every night, and I remember because you must have a window right where you're at too. It's pretty cool.
Yep, the sunset is my favorite time of the day. It used to be the sunrise, but now I really enjoy the sunset. It's the ending of the day, and it's the start of processing to get into a new day. So something I've always cherished, and I enjoy watching the sunset in Hawaii, my favorite place in the world. The Hawaiian sunsets are probably the best place to watch the sunset in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, anytime you're out in it's somewhere where there's nothing in the way. In Hawaii, you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and there's nothing in the way. Being a photographer, my favorite is going down to the beach and taking pictures of sunsets, and there's about 3 or 4 minutes in there where the light is absolutely perfect for photography, and every once in a while I'll make a mistake and I'll get a really spectacular picture. I go, whoa, I wish I can take pictures like that all the time. Unfortunately, when you're an amateur photographer, maybe you might get 10 good pictures out of 100.
But those 10 good pictures are 100% worth it.
They are. I love sunsets, and I love taking pictures of piers. Any piers, especially the Huntington Beach Pier. Get there like early in the morning, maybe a little bit of fog in the air, in the sky, and it's just starting to get daylight. And you do take 3 or 4 pictures. Maybe you change the f-stops a little bit, get a little bit different settings, then you mix them together and you get a really cool looking picture. I had a guy one time who wrote a book about Huntington Beach, and he asked me, can I use your picture in my book? And I go, whoa, sure, free, doesn't cost anything.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't help it. Anyways, I'm down to 10 watts. I'm probably only putting out about 100 on the amplifier.
This is W6GLA. Hello, Curtis. You're sounding awfully good tonight. And you too, Greg. W6GLA.
Excellent, Eric. Why did you drop the power?
Just wanted to see what it would do.
You're making a trip, and just to let you know, it's very, very quiet noise-wise by my house right now, so that I'm sure that's probably helping a little bit.
All right, well, how's the signal? Is it okay? I mean, the audio and everything?
Audio sounds great. You're an S2. What about you, Curtis?
You're S9, where I'm at, and I'm at 100 watts too.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to figure out, okay, so let's say if I got the 9700 and I just wanted to run the 100 watts, that's what it would be.
Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds really good. It might be, you're just a little bit more, I switched over to my GP9, and you're like 5.9 plus.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I got you 7.8 right now, so, that's not bad. And you're, for 100 watts, and then where you are, so, no, that's all good, so.
You need to pick one up.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I don't know, that's why I got the amplifier, for this radio, so I could, he's got 50. So I figured, you know what, I'll just get the amplifier and I'll get 200 as opposed to 100 watts. But, I don't want to run that thing, the amplifier at full bore all the time.
Yeah, that was, when I was deciding to buy a new VHF UHF radio that did 2-meter sideband, I was considering the 991A because, well, number one, it was cheaper, but I really wanted the 9700 because I have the 7300 and they both look exactly the same, and I just, wow. If you got one, you got to have the other. And what really put me over was, 100 watts. Wow, 100 watts is, that's a lot. That's no small thing. So that pushed me more towards the 9700 than the Yaesu.
Yeah, and that was my mindset too. That's why I got the 7300 first. And I figured, you know what? I'll get the 7300 first, play around with it, see how I like it, and then I'd like to get the twin sister, or whatever you want to call it, the 9700, and that would be really nice. That'd be a nice all around. I mean, then you can just monitor HF with your 7300, and you can use your 9700 to do UHF, VHF. So. Yeah, that was my mindset too, but then, I don't know. When I had the 7300, I guess I wasn't all that impressed with the receive on it. I mean, the audio was always good. I always got good comments on the audio, but I don't know. Maybe I just didn't set it up right or whatever, but the filtering on it just wasn't. I like it quieter, and that's why I went back with the Yaesu. The Yaesu just seems to have a little bit quieter audio, or on the receive side. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but it's just a little quieter. It's a little lower. It's not so high pitched. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have a Yaesu FT450D, and I hated that radio from the very first day I hooked it up to an antenna and turned it on. It would receive okay, but everybody that I heard, even when they had a strong signal, seemed like they were miles away. But I'm one of those kind of guys, I don't like, once I get amateur gear, I don't, trade it in or sell it to buy something else. I just endured with it, and eventually I bought a little tiny four-channel mixer board, and I ran the audio through that, and I was able to make it much better by giving it, more treble and a little bit more mid-range, and that worked. Then I just bought the 7300. And of course, you got to buy. And since I live at a place where I have 2 acres, so I've got all kinds of different HF antennas, and they're all different. And my most favorite antenna of them all is the one that I made out of telescoping aluminum that I bought from DX Engineering, and it is a dipole, a horizontal dipole mounted exactly 10 feet off the ground, and it is so quiet. It's even as quiet as I have a beverage antenna. I think it runs like 270 feet long, and that's supposed to be like the best noise for receiving. And this antenna that I made is the same, and it works fantastic. So it's the one I use the most. It just made the radio sound that much better. But yeah, I know what you mean. And everybody has their own thing, and when they hear something, if that sounds good or sounds bad. And I think the Yaesus maybe are just a little bit better at their electronics of making noise reduction. I think you're right there.
Yeah, that's just my own personal thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, the 7300 was a great radio. I mean, I loved the waterfall options and all that, and it was just simple. It was just simple to use, and I did like it, but it's just, maybe if I would have got the matching speaker for it, maybe that would have made a difference, because I was using a kind of a mobile speaker. And I don't know, I just remember what my 991 sounded like before I sold it, and to get the 7300, and I'm just like, I'm not digging it. And then as soon as I got the 991 back, I'm like, yeah, now that's what I'm used to. It's just more pleasant to the ears. But I did have one of those 450Ds, and I mean, it was a great little radio for the price, built-in antenna tuner, and, the display on it I wasn't real thrilled with, and some of the buttons and stuff are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of cheap in my opinion, but then again, you get what you pay for. But that was kind of a neat little radio, so I kind of went through a few of them just to experiment, and yeah, it was okay, but I like the 1200, the FT DX 1200. They didn't make that very long. That was a very inexpensive radio, but boy, did that thing sound good.
Yeah, that was a good radio. I guess I think they still make the FT 3000.
Yeah, they make the 3000, but they don't make the 1200 anymore.
Yeah, it's so subjective. I've always liked Icom radios. I have an Icom 730, which was one of the very, very first small mobile radios made by Icom, like in the 70s, and it's not small. In fact, it's probably about the same size as a 7300 or a 9700. And it still, to this day, works fantastic. It's still a good radio, even though it's 40-something years old. And, usually when you have a good experience with a brand name, you kind of stick to it. So I think Icom is, to me, they seem to be just a little bit on the cutting edge. They're the first ones to come out with the SDR radio from the big three Japanese companies, and now everybody else is playing catch up. And now, Yaesu and Kenwood, they've all have their SDR type of radios, and they pushed it up again to a higher notch where, they're getting better and better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, my first Icom radio was a 746. I had the original 746. The only thing that I didn't like about that is Hio made the ICM microphone for that, and that was it. You couldn't put another microphone on there because there was no other option. And if you didn't set it right, because there was a little compression button on the back, or that you had to turn and get the compression just right. I think it was, anyways, it was audio. And I don't know, I've got some mixed reports with that. I mean, it sounded good, on sideband and all that, but when you got on to, 2 meter, because it had 2 meter, the the 746 Pro sounded like crap on 2 meters, but the original sounded pretty good. But like I said, it was very limited, and so they had some audio issues with the 746, and so I mean, I love the radio. I mean, it was easy to program, and everybody, the receiver was really good on it, and it was a good radio, but you didn't have a whole lot of options as far as microphones and changing up the audio and stuff like that. So that's the only thing I didn't like about it. And then when I went with the Yaesus, it just seemed like they just had the better audio quality. Now I know Icom, since they, with their newer stuff, have vastly improved their audio quality and stuff like that, which is great, because they've always been kind of known to not have quite the audio like the Yaesus did. So I mean, I just been kind of a stickler towards that, with the options and stuff. And then I like the design too. I mean, this M100 microphone is just, I love the damn thing. It's so cool. And that's another thing, is I just like the way they designed their radios and their equipment.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Ford, Chevy, which one's better. They're both good. You can't go wrong if you buy either one. And, Heil still makes stuff for Icom. In fact, the microphone I'm using right now is called an HM219. Well, guess what the HM means? Heil microphone. And it is a condenser type, which usually Heil does not like condenser microphones. He prefers dynamic. So most of Icom's radios do use condenser microphones. I have an SM50, which is a dynamic microphone made by Icom, and it sounds fantastic. So I don't know. And yours sounds good. You got them both, with the dynamic and the condenser built into one microphone. You can't beat that.
No, that's true, and that's another thing that I like. The other one, I think it was the M1, that's the step up from this one, of course, but that's got the built-in equalizer and all that other stuff, so, that's what you get the different, you pay the difference for. This was $430-something, and that one's $600 and something, so, you get what you pay for, but still, what a nice option, and I like the styling of it. That's what's really cool.
Well, it used to be back in the day where, the amateur radio operators were able to change the tubes and stuff, fix their radios. Now it's so complicated, you open up and, what's that thing? So we're stuck to either putting up bigger antennas or experimenting with antennas or changing the microphone. So when I bought this radio, I used the SM30 that I use on my 7300. Sound fantastic. And then, I wasn't satisfied. I wanted something maybe a little bit better. So I bought the SM50. Absolutely fantastic sounding. Then I wanted more. I wanted to have more control over the EQ, because you only have bass and treble on the 9700. So I bought the W2IHY 8-band audio equalizer and noise gate, and I hooked it up to the SM50. I can make it sound like anything. I mean, it was really, really cool. And then eventually I said, you know what, I have a Sennheiser microphone that I've had for, about 15 years. I want to try that, and it just happened to plug into this equalizer, and I tried that. It sounded fantastic. And guess what microphone I'm using now? Just the microphone that came with the radio. So, it just shows you how amateur radios are. We're really picky, and we're not satisfied with one thing. We got to keep changing it, trying to get, it's kind of like a surfer trying to find the perfect wave.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut Greg off there. But yeah, I understand that fully, and I've heard a lot of guys, you know, you get into the equalizer setting inside that radio, and the stock mic sounds like a studio mic, and that's what's really cool. You know, this one doesn't, I mean, if I really dug into it, because it's very complicated, you know, it's got the equalizer, and then it's got the compression and all that other stuff, and there's a fine line, so you got to kind of get in there and start messing around with the parameters and stuff like that, and it's really confusing. So, you know, unless you have your monitor on and, you know, you're running it through your headphones, you know, that's about the only way that you can get it exactly the way you want it. But the way I have this thing set up is I've got the mic gain at 70. I've got both the condenser and dynamic elements on the microphone, and then I'm running the radio EQ just the way it's factory set up. And so I just, you know, it seems to sound pretty good through the microphone, or through the headphones when I put it on monitor. So I figured, you know what, this is good enough for me.
Well, it sounds good to me too, and I think, of course, I don't know nothing about the 991A. I think the EQ section on it, though, I think it has parametric EQs where you can actually sweep the mids, so you can do just about any type of EQ.
Sounds like Curtis kind of slid a little off frequency when he changed antennas. I just never dialed them in as good as I probably could have.
With you know, whatever it's set at. But I think Greg understands parametric EQs that there. With that, you can you can make any kind of sound.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's what this is. It's very confusing when you get into the menu and you start looking at that. You know, you got the low cuts, you got the high cuts, you've got the mids and all this other stuff. I mean, there's so many different settings. It's just very confusing. So I kind of just left it alone. I'm sure it sounds fine, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. But yeah, I'm not going to get in there and start messing around with that kind of stuff. But you know, on the 9700, I guess you've got a bass and treble thing, and I'm sure there's probably other settings, but that seems to be pretty cut and dry. You know, you just set your bass, you set your treble, and you know, whatever sounds the best, you just kind of go for that. You know, just leave it like that, Roger.
W6GLA AJ60 with K6EGG, and I'm sure WA6QXA is out there. It's sound reinforcement and engineering. It can get really, really complicated, and a lot of the manufacturers for radios try to make it. I mean, you can't get no easier than treble and bass. That's it. I know most of my guitars just had treble and bass on it. You know, it was a no-brainer. Of course, then it plugs into an amplifier, and then you got graphic EQs there, so you can change it. And then if you buy a 16, 21 band graphic equalizer, okay, what do I do? Where do I put all the settings? And some people will say, well, just make a happy face. You boost up the lows, you bring down the mids, and then you boost up the treble, and you're good to go. And that's not what they were really made for. But people do it that way, because it is getting complicated. Anyway, Eric, I'm going to jump out here because I'm run out of things to say, and I'm sure somebody else wants to say something, and I'll let my radio cool down just a little bit. So I'm going to step aside and let Greg get in there, since he's the one doing the streaming. W6GLA AJ60.
Sorry, Curtis, no problem. Yeah, I know we're kind of hogging it there, but anyways, yeah, if he wanted to jump in, he could. We left enough room for him to jump in. So, anyways, yeah, I'll back out too a little bit and see if anybody else wants to chime in. So, anyways, good talking to you. AJ60 W6GLA.
Real quick, K6EGG. Oh, I was enjoying the conversation. You guys brought up some really good points. Two things I would like to mention about equalization. Number one, people tend to overuse equalization and end up messing up what they're trying to fix. You kind of like overdo it. That's a big thing with somebody new to audio or not understanding it. They think they could just keep tweaking. This sounds good, and whatever else. If you look at my mixer here on the right of me, everything's pretty much flat. I just have some stuff rolled off for the radio just to get rid of noise. The second thing with equalization, equalization is basically phase shifting. When you start doing phase shifting, when you're adding something, you're taking away from something else usually. So when you start adding a lot more of something and adding a lot more of something else, it's taken away from something else. So I see a lot of guys, they add a bunch of highs and add a bunch of lows. You're basically just churning up the gain and phasing out the mids, which Curtis brought up about the U there. Sometimes that's not the way it's designed. And also when you have phase shifts, it also adjusts your gain as well. You add a lot of noise into your signal with all the different phasing. So sometimes keeping stuff kind of flat is actually a little better. Less is more. I know for me, I don't have any bass on my my EQ. I have everything set to wide and just 2 notches up on the highs. Obviously, I'm using a little bit different microphone, but sometimes less is more.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. You know, I mean, yeah, you can get you can use too much and, you know, blow everything. You know, I mean, I remember I was doing that on another radio. I can't remember which one it was, but I got into the EQ and I started messing around with it, and I ended up having to reset the radio because I couldn't get the sound that I wanted. And so, you know, usually the factory sound, you know, you put the compressor on, or you put the EQ on, or, you know, sometimes both, and that's usually your best setting, you know, in a lot of cases. You know, I know it goes a lot by your the characteristics of your voice. Has a lot to do with it. You know, some guys have higher voices and other guys have lower voices. So, you know, you got to kind of mix in between. But, you know, generally, you know, the radio settings are pretty much, you know, right there in between. So, you know, I've never heard anybody really sound bad on any type of setting. You know, so. And I've never heard anybody come back to me and say, "Oh yeah, you sound muffled," or "You sound horrible," or something like that. So, you know, so I just kind of go that route. I just, you know, use the setting on the radio and maybe enhance it a little bit, turn the mic gain up a little bit, and there you go.
And to add partly what I was going to say about equalization, is both for audio use and for radio use. You can use your EQ as a notch filter. I know for me, when I do sports, we want to kind of get out a lot of the crowd noise for certain microphones that are aimed at like where the batter's hitting for baseball, so you can hear the loud crack. You don't want to hear all the low ends because it's not making that noise. It's a higher pitched, above 1K and below 10K noise. So you're going to notch everything else out and gain up that little part. For radio use, what we're using, like if we're trying to DX and cut through the noise, I would take a lot of low end out and just pump up my mids to highs to cut through the noise. It's just to make that contact. So EQ can be used for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I've been on HF when there was contesting, and there's people that I hear up there that have their EQ. I mean, they have the mid-range and more of the highs. I mean, really cranked up, and it sounded really squeaky. I mean, really high pitched. But you know, when you're trying to get contact with somebody in another country, everybody in the world is keying down and trying to make contact with this station. And the person that I heard the most was the little squeaky clean guy. He punched through everybody. That guy was really, really smart.
Exactly. He notched out his lows, and he made the presence pushed the presence of his voice through all the other people talking. He made himself sound just a tad different. So, yeah, I mean, EQ could be it's an amazing thing, but like I said earlier, you can overdo it.
Yeah, it's easy to, especially with a graphic equalizer, where you put it all flat and say, oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let me put a little bit more bass. Oh, that sounds better. How about a little bit of highs? Oh, man, that really sounds good. And you get to the point where they all sound good. They all sound good, but they can't all be. I mean, they're all good. But I think if understanding that the human ear was designed to hear the human voice, which is usually around 800, 1.2K kilohertz, that's where we hear the best, and the bass and the real highs are the ones that we don't hear the best, so we have a tendency to crank them up. And depending on how old you are, because your hearing, you kind of lose the high frequencies as you get older. I have a tendency to crank up the highs because I'm older, and to me it sounds better, so I don't know.
It's definitely natural. And if you listen to some of these AM radio stations, they have some massive processors on them to shoot certain frequencies, because there's not much bandwidth, just to make those brighter and push through the noise. Sometimes you just hear the loudness of the AM radio station out in the distance when you're driving through the desert at night, waving in and out. So, yeah, it's just amazing, like especially with radio, broadcast radio, having the right processing and gain structure and multi-band limiting, as well as equalization, is really key to making your station sound just right. There's all these tiny little things. If you just do one of them out of whack, it kind of throws everything out of whack. So having a nice flat signal to start out with, and just adding a little bit here and there and subtracting, is sometimes just more than enough.
I think that really goes to depending on the people that you're talking to, especially on the radio, because when I put my headphones on, I mean, it sounds really good, but just because it sounds good to me don't mean it sounds good to the other guy on the other end who's listening to it. So you really are dependent upon the people that you talk to give you an honest opinion about how something sounds. I've heard people say, hey, I need a radio check. How's my audio? And he sounds terrible. And somebody goes, oh, you sound really, really good. So, nobody wants to hear, that sounds terrible, but you really need somebody to tell you that so that, you can kind of fix it.
And I put up this very same YouTube stream just so people like Keith can sit there and adjust their audio levels, as well as Ward, to play around and listen to it from themselves to see what they like and they want their stations to sound like. I just wish I can do the same so I can hear myself. I know you played me before through your radio, but it's kind of still not the same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, yours sounds good, and I'm not, making you feel better. It does sound good. There are some YouTube people that I listen to, and they're not talking through RF. They're going through the internet type of thing, and they have that same microphone you have, and you can tell right off the bat, wow, now that microphone was designed specifically for talking, because it just has all the frequencies that the human ear hears, and you can tell because you only have the treble cranked up too, and everything else the same. And it definitely sounds good, at least to my ears.
There's actually a guy that I've communicated with a couple times, Doug, K6EGG, out of Long Island, New York. I found his stream. He's doing something very similar to what I'm doing here, but more for HF, and he puts up an SDR, whatever they call it. SDR radio, whatever, from his computer. But anyways, he's got a lot of the same audio gear in his shack, and man, his station sounds amazing. So check him out, KB2UKA. He also helped me out choking out my, I don't know if you see in the back here now, I have a choke on the back of my RE20, which helped get rid of some of my noise that I was having when I would run my amplifier. It had a little bit of warbly mid to high frequency bleeding in RFI, and I noticed on my scope that it's the lines seem a little bit, if you look, straighter. They're not jagged. Usually if you have a jagged line on a scope like that, there is some splatter within the signal.
Was that KB2EKA, Greg?
That's what they're there for. And we got the one that's on. Even right now I have mine on a different menu, but I like to go to it too and see the frequencies that I am speaking out and what I'm listening to, and got the little, I don't know how accurate it is. It's probably somewhat accurate that the 97 has. It definitely is something that is a useful tool. I think there's a guy I talked to on HF. He's back east. I can't remember. I think his call sign is K1KW. And, he's probably got the best sounding HF radio I've ever heard from anybody. But this guy is, wealthy. He's got a lot of antennas. I think he has he said he used an Orban processor. I go, where do you get those at? He says, well, they're only made for radio stations, and there's an audio signal processor, and they're like $5,000. I go, whoa. And you can definitely tell that he's got a $5,000 sound coming out of his radio. It's pretty amazing the things that people will do. I like, broadcast quality radio. It works great if you can talk to somebody, far away and still have the treble and the mid-range and the bass and everything. But usually for DX, like you said, the mid-range and the highs are actually work better for going long distances, because I think if you have too much bass, your amplifier is going to put out more power. But the people on the other end that are several thousand miles away, they can hear you, but they don't understand what you're saying.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. Keith jumped in there real quick right when you first keyed up and asking his call sign again out of New York. It's KB2UKA. UKA. So KB2UKA. As far as you're talking about that guy that sounded really good, I actually have in line in my audio chain an Orban 6300. Just take a look at that online. Orban 6300. That's feeding my stream right now out of my mixer. I actually just got that a few weeks ago. I did not pay for it, thankfully. I was going to be destroyed, and somebody alerted me to it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I also noticed with that, when I put that processor in line, I listened to it through my car stereo from the stream, and that made a world of difference for the stream. I might want to put that in line with my radio stuff once I figure out how I can get rid of the buzz and hum problem I have that I can't figure out. So, yeah, Orban 6300. That thing sounds amazing. It has like a brick wall, so I can scream and it won't ever distort.
Well, that's so cool. You know, I don't think my wife would ever justify me spending $5,000 on one of those things, but I can imagine in my mind, oh, how fun would that be? Oh, that would make Fred so upset.
Well, you're talking through it right now, so if you listen to yourself on the stream, you're going to the Orban. Eric and Keith, you still there?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. I've been really enjoying the conversation and learn a lot.
Yeah, I'm still here too. Hey, Keith, can you hear me? I'm on like 20 watts of the radio. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, Eric, I hear you just fine.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, well, it's 20 watts running the amplifier, so I stepped it up about 10 watts. I was down to 10, so just making sure.
Yep, you're doing a fine job down here in Long Beach.
Okay, take it away, Greg.
Oh, I've been taking it away. You guys are up right now.
I don't know what to say.
Hey, Keith, look up Orban 6300 and see what you can get one for.
Well, I kind of like Greg's deal.
Yeah, me too. In fact, that's probably an old model number. I think it probably has a much newer one.
They still make them, and this thing was barely even used.
So what exactly is that anyway? Is it some kind of really fancy-dancy frequency compressor, individual frequencies that you can compress limit?
Exactly. It's a 4-band compressor limiter. It also has built-in presets from the factory. Basically, you can make your there's a guy named, I think it's Greg Orban. He designed the first broadcast radio compressor. I think it's Greg or Bob Orban. I think one of the two. I can't remember. I think Greg is one of their engineers. But they basically went through and put all these different type of musics through audio scopes and found out the best equalization, because there's equalization in this, compression and limiting. Compression and limiting are two different things, by the way. Presets, so you can go through, you can scroll through the one that I have and type in, oh, I want to be like a talk radio station, and then boom, you'll get that boom bassiness feeling, and then there'll be a gate in the background so you don't hear all the noise in the background in the studio. There's a rock station, there's a jazz version, there's a one for television for loud commercials. So there's all kinds of different settings. Right now I'm using the one loud and punchy, and I can get as loud as I can and it doesn't distort. It sounds like the microphone's distorting a little bit, but the signal will never clip. That's the other big feature about this radio. When you're running the microphone like I'm running right now into the radio could distort. This will protect the radio without a lot of non-multiband compressors will, as soon as a low frequency will come in, it will bring down the highs as well. This won't do that. It'll push everything up on the shelf, meaning the shelf will be the low end of the frequencies on the left and the high frequencies on the right. It'll push everything up as far as it can before it doesn't destroy the radio signal. So you get a lot cleaner signal through it.
Wow, that sounds so cool. This equalizer that I have, that I bought from W2IHY. He makes a lot of different audio processors for ham radio, and it's geared just for ham radio. And the first thing that he recommends is this one that I have here, which is the 8-band audio equalizer and noise gate. And you can tell that it's built really good. It has all kinds of different microphones you can plug into it, and it'll run microphones for Icom, Yaesu, Kenwood, whatever you want. It's got a built-in monitor function, so you can hear what it sounds like. And then the next link that he recommends, which I was planning on buying, but I did not, it's another equalizer module that's a little bit bigger, and it gives you more EQ, and it has a multi-band compressor, which he says normally in a radio, when you run a compressor, when you compress it, you lose some of the high frequencies because it's the way they work. But his compressor is a multi-band compressor, which it does not, the highs still stay the same. So I was planning on buying one of those, but I did not get around to it because his stuff is not exactly cheap. I mean, it's not real expensive, but it's not cheap. I think this 8-band equalizer, it was $299, and then the next link that he recommends is $399. And so there was a few times where I was going to call and order it, and he's back in New York, but I just something told me, not right now. So, but the guy makes some really good stuff. You can probably look it up on YouTube. W2IHY processing equipment for ham radio. He's very popular.
Yep, I've actually seen it. And that gets back to my point where I said it was a multi-band, 4-band compressor. Just like frequency for audio, the audio level on a lower frequency needs more voltage to pass, so it will compress at a different rate. It will transmit at a different rate into the different audio components. So what you need to do, just like he said, you need to multi-band it because it's coming in at all different frequencies and levels. You don't want to have one band, or one compressor, because it will just bring down basically anything that hits. Like if I hit my lows first, it'll bring down the highs. With a multi-band, it brings it down at a different level. It still compresses it, still limits it. It just does it at a different level. It doesn't do it when I knock in my lows. So that's the big benefit of a multi-band compressor. And they're huge. Apex was one of the first ones, as well as Orban, to make those things right for broadcast audio.
When you say the Apex, are you referring to the Apex oral exciter?
Break down the 4 different bands, because the lower frequencies are definitely going to compress much more and faster than the higher frequencies, which would not have as much voltage, which would actually make it sound more bottom heavy. And so I can visualize that in my head. I can see how they would do that. That is, of course, there's a lot of technology involved in doing that. I remember many years ago, I used to, back when you could not buy compressors, but I bought a book by a guy named Greg Anderton, who was a studio engineer, and he designed the electronic schematic for building one using not an op amp. It's like it uses op amps, but it uses an LED and a light sensor. They call it something else. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember. And I built several of them, and hey, it was the coolest thing in the world. And it was, rather cheap for me to make. But they're way past that now because those the optical compressors, they're not as quick as compressing something as something that operates. I don't know what they use today, but I know they're still expensive and you can still buy them, optical compressors. But there's another technology they use that are much faster at reacting to cutting down a frequency other than using an LED and a photosensor.
Actually, the Orban that I'm using right now has something called a look-ahead that uses that technology. And Keith was in there. He mixed with you a little bit there. The Aphex Oral Exciter is basically it's basically an EQ to a point. There's a lot more phase shifting versus there's no compression, and there's another there's basically gains for each frequency versus like an EQ as well, where you phase shift. What I was mentioning with Aphex is they have a thing called a compeller, which is basically I wouldn't call it a limiter. I'd call it more of a leveler. Those sound really good. If you ever listen to the Academy Awards and they have the audience mics, they use that to make that richness sound. Aphex also makes something that's similar to what the Orban radio processors do, called the Dominator. It's very similar technology. They just got there a little different way. Multi-band, a little bit of an EQ in there as well. But I think the Orban sound a little better, although there's a little bit of a delay because they have that look ahead, which Curtis just mentioned.
Go ahead, Keith.
Oh, that's okay. He answered my question. Yeah, I have an Aphex Oral Exciter in my PA system. I think it must be over 30 years old. I forget how old it is.
You can make some good bass with those.
Well, I used to have a MIDI band, so we had live guitar, live me playing sax. I also would, play keyboards, and everything else was MIDI, so like the drums were MIDI, the basses was MIDI, so it really helped bring that thing up front and more clear and everything. So it did the trick back then. So we had like we had a female vocalist, and so we had a 3-piece band that sounded like a 5 or 6-piece band.
Oh yeah, I use this. I have a 204 Aphex Oral Exciter. I use for my microphone that feeds the air. It doesn't feed the radio, but it definitely adds a lot of richness to my voice and a little bit of presence as well. So yeah, those things are awesome if you got them set right.
Something it's an oral exciter, but it's called something else, and I don't remember the name of it. See, I'm having a senior moment. But when I first heard it, I go, I've got to have one of those, and I bought one, and I have a PA system, and I put it in it, and basically what it does is when you're playing live music, you've got you got speakers that put out the bass, and you got the horns, the high frequency drivers, and typically whenever you're sending live sound to a speaker, you're sending the bass and the treble at the same time, which usually causes distortion. So what this thing did is it split the lower frequencies from the higher frequencies, and it would send the lower frequencies first, then after so many, 3 or 4 milliseconds, it would send the high frequencies through, and there was a delay between the bass and the treble, but the human ear cannot hear it, and it just makes the voice or the sound much cleaner. And I can't remember the name of that thing, but it was an oral exciter type of processor.
That's very similar to what the Apex does. And I didn't realize it was about 9:40. So I'm going to call it a night. For those of you on the stream, stay tuned for just a quick second. But Curtis AJ60, Keith WA6QXA, and Eric W6GLA. You guys have a good evening. I'll be back on hopefully most of this week in the evenings, maybe even during the day if I'm not doing anything. But you guys all take care. It was great conversation. Audio, one of my favorite subjects. So have a good evening. Good evening, you guys.
All right, Greg, great conversation tonight. I learned a lot. So I'm going to let you guys go. So this is going to be WA6QXA also, saying so long, 73. We'll talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye.
Okay, Greg, 73s. Yeah, I just remember the name of that processor. It's called a BBE. They've been around for a long time. So anyway, good night, Keith and Eric up there in the Sugarloaf at Big Bear. It was beautiful up there yesterday. There was a lot of people. It was a perfect day for putting your boat in the water. In fact, I know that's what you like to do, and I wish I had a boat yesterday, but I don't. So anyway, good night. Talk to you guys later. AJ6
Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm still here. So, Greg, take care. Keith, take care. Curtis, take care. And, yeah, we'll be out on the boat this week sometimes as the weather permits. So, anyways, take care, guys. Thanks for giving me radio checks and all that crap. So, 73's W6GLA.
All right. Thank you for tuning in tonight. The reason why I wanted to make sure if you guys in the area that are watching, there is going to be a ham swap meet. I think I mentioned it a couple times before, but I don't know if you guys are new tuning in. That's going to be out in Claremont on June the 19th between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. I think anybody can bring, maybe you could just put it in your car or something and make some contacts. And maybe you can trade some stuff, or you can look at one of the guys that have the tents up and maybe purchase some stuff. But that's at the Granite Creek Community Church at 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. That's in the city of Claremont, and the zip is 91711. So once again, June 19th between 6 a.m. at Granite Creek Community Church, 1580 North Claremont Boulevard. And that's in Claremont, obviously. At the zip is 91711. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that, and was be able to put a little thing in your calendar to go check that out. It's been a while. I've been to the Chino Hills ham. I wouldn't call it a ham fest, but the swap meet. They ended it a couple years ago. And I did make my way out to the TRW one many, many years ago. It's been quite many years ago, but they had some cool stuff out there. So if you want to get rid of anything, I know I need to get rid of some gear here. I might think about going just to dump it. And if I find anything interesting there, I might go check it out for myself. So once again, so Saturday, June 19th. So thank you for watching here on this beautiful Sunday night. I wish I could have stayed up a little bit longer, but I want to chill a little bit, maybe watch some TV before I had to sleep. So I got up kind of early, had a full day of work this afternoon. So you guys all take care. Have a good evening. This is Greg, K6EGG. See you tomorrow.